Hi, I'm Brian.
Pretty decent rain last night. Most of the night. I'm not sure if it rained all night, but I think Derek said we might have gotten 3/4 of an inch. I know it rained fairly hard at some point, so I'm down in our wash, just taking a look. Derek has agreed actually to come over with his tractor, which is awesome, and kind of level this out a little bit and grade this. He's done it before and it's really fantastic. But I am curious kind of how much we can do ourselves here, just with a little manual labor and maybe a little help with the quad. This is going up toward the house. It's not too bad. Obviously it's a little wet and muddy and there's some ruts, but I mean, if you've got a truck, maybe not in a car, I wouldn't maybe mess with it too much, but in a truck, probably not too bad. You can see right here, this is kind of the edge where the water runs. So there's a little shelf here, but nothing too outrageous, you know. With a truck, you're probably okay here. Even a decent car, I suppose, but a truck and maybe four-wheel drive should be able to handle this. But if I'm leaving the house, obviously here the water runs through here. And there's some pretty big ruts and it leaves some debris behind, but I can just throw some of that out. Big rock here. I can just get rid of some of this stuff. Not too big of a deal again, but we do have an issue over on this other side. So this is the way out. And what we get here is this big shelf that just drops off. And I'm afraid even our truck, you know, that's just so tall that I don't even know if you can get up kind of on it. So what I'm going to try and do, as you can see, so this is the road out here. This is kind of the wash running through. So there on the side, it's not quite as bad right there, but then it gets pretty steep right there. And then over here, you can see what I've already done. There was a spot here that wasn't quite as steep of a drop off and the quad was able to drive up over it. So I just started trying to knock it down with the quad and that did work a little bit. And at least a little ramp is better than just a wall basically. So I kind of wasn't able to do a whole lot more with the quad right there. It wasn't kind of breaking down. So I'm going to take a shovel, axe, rake, and try and just knock this down a little, make this a little more into a ramp rather than a wall, just to see if that helps at all. It's still obviously pretty slick, it can be, so probably going to need four-wheel drive, probably going to need a truck, but I just want to know if we can kind of do enough just manually just to make it passable. So that's what I'm going to try and do right now. Derek just finished doing a little bit of grading for us here. Much appreciated. I'll take you on a little tour. So this is walking out of the property. This side actually doesn't get too bad. So as the water comes through this wash, it's obviously, it's kind of sloped a little toward, what direction would that be? That'd be east. The far end of this wash here, it's sloped slightly that direction, so the water kind of builds up more over there. So it doesn't cut quite as badly on this side that I'm on right now, at least not with maybe a lighter rain. So this wasn't really too bad here, but as you come across, obviously, you know, in the past it has cut a wall, but with each rain, not too much on this side. But this far side over here was the problem area. This is still pretty soft. Over the course of the day today, if it doesn't rain during the day, this stuff will harden up pretty good. It's pretty soft right now. It's kind of like wet sand. So still not great to drive in, really. You're kind of sinking a little bit, but it was pretty rough before. At least it's smoothed out, and it'll dry over the course of the day and get pretty hard, I think. So that's not too bad. But this is the issue that really I couldn't do a whole lot about. I could maybe do just enough manually to be able to get out with the truck, I think, but it's sketchy, and it took a good bit of work manually just to get to that point, and it wasn't a great solution. So Derek did kind of the same thing as I was doing manually. I just created a ramp basically of what was a wall. It's kind of hard to see on this side, but you can see it on the other side, how you end up with just a sheer face, right? Just straight up and down. And that came right across here. It wasn't quite as tall as it is over there. That's a good, maybe 3 feet, 2.5. Across through here, it was well over a foot, and it was just a straight wall. So I don't know that you could really drive up it even with a good sized truck. So that was a problem. So what I did was start to knock it down, and then Derek came and obviously knocked it down and built a ramp, basically, is all he does. Like I said, still pretty soft right now, so not that great to drive through at the moment, but it will harden up over the course of the day until it rains again. So that's what we have to deal with. Derek will help us out for the near future, kind of dealing with this. We appreciate that, but it looks like our long-term solution is, you know, potentially some rock assistance to divert some water a little bit. I mean, it's a big wide wash. I don't think we'll be changing the water flow all that much, but to try and keep it from eating away a wall on this side that you just can't drive out of. So we'll have to look into that, how to build a diversion dam, what do they call it, a check dam, I believe. The county's not really going to maintain this at all, so this is kind of my responsibility, and we're the only ones really beyond the wash. But at the same time, the county doesn't want you to divert too much because it can have unintended consequences kind of downstream. So, but anything I can do maybe to just keep it from carving a sheer face in this side over here will help us, you know, afterwards. We can deal with the rest with just being a little messy, but that wall was basically impassable. So this is what Derek did. Just a lot faster and a lot bigger scale than what I was able to do with just some hand tools and driving over it with the quad. Like I said, in a pinch, I think I could get us out. We could drive the truck out, but it wasn't a great solution. So, so some diversion techniques, and I think some form of tractor is in our not too distant future. Maybe not this year, this monsoon season, but before next monsoon season, maybe. Maybe find something used. I don't know exactly what kind of price range we're looking in there. I'm guessing probably $5,000 to $10,000 is my guess, even for something used, just to be kind of meaty enough to push some of this dirt around. It doesn't have to be anything great, but it's got to be able to move some dirt. So anything we can do with the quad, I think if the quad is just too small, I mean, they make attachments and things, I'm sure that can do some things, but I just don't think that'd be beefy enough to really do much here. Derek said even his tractor that weighs 3,000–4,000 pounds sometimes just feels too light to do some of this work, but he was able to do some good stuff here. So that's the end result. I think we're kind of back in business, at least until the water cuts through here again. But that's how we'll get through this monsoon season, and then we'll think about longer term solutions.